Say. Muhlenberg. Beginning with the dance team. Senior, Gonzalez Arnold. This is Giseline's second year on the team. She is best work evening by Giselle Arnold. Her father, Irvin, her sister, Giseline's, and her sister, Jocelyn. Her favorite role to provide her career in dancing at the culture role at the local high school. Giseline's plans to go to college and become a missionary in love. Next, we have Derek Manuel. This is Derek's first year on the team. Derek was escorted by his mom, Wendy. His favorite role is a talent show last year. He plans to attend college and become a missionary. Up next, we have Joshua Fernandez. This is Joshua's second year on the team. Joshua was escorted by his sister Jennifer, her brother-in-law, Georgia Wheel, and her best friend Neil. Her favorite role in her career is going to dance at the middle school for a dance. After high school, Joshua plans to attend Florida College and become a piano. Up next, we have Victoria Santana. This is Victoria's first year on the team. Victoria is being escorted by her friend. Victoria's favorite role is practicing for the very first match of the year. Her future plans to become a doctor in the area. Next, we have Angela Pantoja. This is Angela's first year on the team. Angela being escorted by her daughter, Alicia, and her dad, Francisco, along with her sister, Yara. Her favorite role is getting to know everybody here in the district. Angela plans to attend Kutztown University after graduation. Up next, we have Yadiel Echeverria. This is Yadiel's first year on the dance team. Yadiel is escorted by a bunch of friends in the lower school. Yadiel's plan after Varsity is to attend acting school. Yadiel's favorite moment in that early career is performing for the school. Next, we have Destiny Martinez. Destiny is escorted by her mom, dad, and little siblings. Destiny's favorite moments that I played with are sharing her love for dance and colors. Destiny's plan is to become an elementary school teacher to help the younger generation. Next, we have Gabby Flowers. Gabby is being escorted by her grandmother, her cousin Leah, her cousin Jackson, and her father. Gabby's favorite moment in her school is getting to know everyone. Gabby plans to attend 4-year college at Varsity. Now, for our state qualified cheer team, up first, we have Joshua Cadena. This is Joshua, Jeremy's 4-year-old team. Jeremy is being escorted by mom, Marisol, her dad, Ron, her sisters, Mom and Kimberly, and her best friend, Katrina. Jeremy's favorite moment in our career is going to the States and all dance, life, and endurance, and getting irreplaceable memories of nationals and performance. Her future plans are going to a 4-year college Next, we have Bella Fidel. This is Bella's third-year-old team. Bella's being escorted by her father, Vincent Fidel, her mother, Erica Speaker. Bella's favorite moment for her career was to sell her freshman year along with Boys State this year. Bella plans to attend Westchester University to study psychology at Varsity. Next, we have Paige Clemson. This is Paige's fourth year of cheering. Paige is being escorted by her mother, Tiffany, and her dad, James. Paige's best favorite moment in our career is being escorted each year at Muhlenberg. Paige's future plans consist of attending a two-year college for medical imaging. Now we have Addison Payson. This is Addison's fourth year on the team. Addison is being escorted by her mom, Carol Payson, and her dad, Eric Payson. Addison's favorite role during her career by competing with U.S. internationals during Orlando, Florida. Addison is planning to enlist in the Air Force at Varsity. Our next student is Elizabeth Bell. This is Elizabeth's fourth year on cheering. Elizabeth has been fostered by her mom, Lorraine Hollander, her stepdad, Rob Foster, and her sister, Lorraine. Elizabeth's favorite moment during our career was the nationals with her best friends and making memories that will last forever. After high school, Elizabeth was also attended East Childhood University to major in social work. Next, we have Lisa Flores. This is Lisa's third year on cheering. Lisa is being escorted by her mom, Betsy, her dad, Leandro, her sisters, Yolanda, and Cecilia, her nephew Taylor, her niece Olivia, and her cousin Eddie. Her favorite moments on our career is skates and the players before the ball. They gave us Operation Anthony Pizza. After high school, Lisa plans to attend college to become an ultrasound and sonograph technician. Next we have Kimberly Reynoso. This is Kimberly's fourth year on cheering. Kimberly will be escorted by her mother, Lorraine, her father, Manuel, and her grandmother, Melanie. Her favorite moment for our career is going to national for her children. Kimberly plans to attend a 4-year college to receive a bachelor's degree in the labor and ability course and possibly go back to her pocket to become an OBGYN. Next, we have Valerie Isa Tavares. This is Valerie's fourth year on cheering. Valerie is being escorted by her mom, Denise, her dad, Destiny Muhls. This is Destiny's third year on the church. Destiny has been escorted by her mom, Denise, her stepdad, Henry, her sister, Dewey, Gerard, and I pray for her for our brother today and we count on all powers for the JP babies and being strong powers. And the rest of us going to return power to study criminal justice and we will rest restored for family worship. Please put your hands together for our children. Now, for our basketball team. First, we have Gabriel Garcia. This is Gabe's first year on the basketball team. He is the Australian team by the World Academy. Gabe works in the team at school for having seniors all over the country. Next, we have Michael Paul Little Jr. This is Michael's fourth year on the basketball team. Michael is an escort by his brother Patricia Miller and his grandma Chantal. Now, pray for the girls athletic senior year football season. My future colleague will take Muhlenberg University to grad college level. Next, we have Jennifer Pallaro. This is Jeffrey's third year on the football team. This evening, Jeffrey will escort Jeffrey Pallaro, Manuel Pallaro, Carlos Pallaro, Juliette Pallaro, and Roberto Pallaro. Jeffrey's favorite home for his athletic career is his senior football season. As high school, Jeffrey plans to become a church. Next, we have Jamie Perez. This is Jamie's fifth year on the basketball team. This season, Jamie is an escort by his brother Christian Perez, his dad Dick Perez, his brother Caleb Perez, and his sister Leona Perez. Jamie's favorite moments during our high school are overnight games and workshops. After high school, Jamie plans to attend a four-year college. Next, we have Dylan Lee. This is Dylan, fourth year on the basketball team. This evening, Dylan is an escort by his mom, Mom Lee, and father, Sean Lee. His favorite activity on the basketball is running one day at the club. His future plan is to become a physical therapist or a orthopedic surgeon. Next, we have Joey Bulldogs. Joey has been on the basketball team for 4 years. This evening, he will escort by his mom, his dad, DJ Award, his brother, Trevor, his sister, Zoe, and his grandmother, Kim. His favorite all on court delivery is sexy walking with the team at the end of the season. His future plans is to attend community college to major in electrical engineering. Please put your hands together for our basketball team. Tonight, we will also like to acknowledge senior members from the Muhls High School team. Please raise your hands and be recognized. We thank you for joining us this evening and best of luck in the future endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in one final show of appreciation to the senior members of our dance team, our winter cheer team, and our boys basketball team. We want to wish your boys best of luck this evening in their head clubs, their cheer team as they went to nationals, and their dance team as they finish their season. Best of luck to all the future brothers, and please be sure to stop us and see us all. Thank you, Bulldogs.
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Muhlenberg High School here in Laureldale. I'm Ryan Lineweaver alongside producer Jerry Gelliff, bringing you some BCI AA Division I boys basketball tonight. The final home game of the regular season for the Muhls. It's also senior night, and what a stage for it. Wilson comes to town for a rematch of one of the best games in Berks County that they've had all year long. 6 days until they start the BCI AA tournament. Seeding on the line, pride on the line, and for a Muhlenberg program that is chasing that elusive first ever BCI AA title, everything kind of feels like it's been building towards these next 2 weeks. The Muhls are 14-5 overall, 7-3 in Division I play. Wilson struggling, limping in at 13-7, 7-4. They've lost their last 2 games. But both teams relatively locked into the tournament field, but the winner tonight likely will be grabbing that 3 seed and a more favorable path to the championship game. They would likely draw Reading, who would probably slot in as the number 2 seed, recently losing to Berks Catholic this past weekend, but very much a number 2 seed contender, so likely that side of the bracket instead of the BC side of the bracket is what you're up against here this evening. So let's set the table. It's been a tough stretch for both of these teams. For the Muhls, Thursday night against Berks Catholic that we had right here on the Muhls Sports Network, that one was gut-wrenching. They had an 11-point halftime lead. They had the Saints. They led by 8 with under 2 minutes left. Kingston McCoy happened. A dunk, a steal, a three-pointer from Carmelo Harper that ended up tying the game. 9-1 Berks Catholic run. Head to overtime. The Muhls just could not recover. LJ Armstrong had 18. Malave had 16, but Eli Hemming, struggling from the line, missed a whole bunch of free throws. Some critical turnovers in overtime just sealed the team's fate in an 8-point loss to the Saints. A game that the Muhls most certainly should have won, a game that slipped away, and one that they're not going to forget anytime soon. For Wilson, Friday night was also supposed to be special. That was their senior night at West Lawn. It was a chance to sell Corell Akings and the seniors out with a home win against Reading, but that didn't happen. The Red Knights ended up coming in and took it 55-51 in OT. Peter Cafana had 21 for Wilson. Ronaldo Gonzalez came off the bench with 10. Justin DeCastro had 22 for Reading, and the Bulldogs just could not finish. Back-to-back overtime losses now for Wilson, both of them at home, and both of them to Division I rivals. So here we are, 2 teams that would really like to have a win going into that tournament, 2 teams with playoff positioning at stake, and 2 teams that know each other very, very well. So we can rewind to that game back on January the 5th, back in West Lawn, one of the best atmospheres that you had here in Berks. Wilson controlled most of that game. Michael Glover was dominant. 24 points, 14 assists. The Bulldogs led entering the 4th. They were up by 4 with under a minute left. And then the Muhls able to come back. They showed them what they were made of. Eli Hemmings, despite struggling from the line all night, he was 5 for 14 that evening. Grabbed offensive rebound after offensive rebound to keep possessions alive. LJ Armstrong made play after play. Wilson turned it over twice in the final minute of regulation, and the game ended up going to overtime. In the extra period, it was more of the same. Muhlenberg's defense forcing mistakes, Wilson committing turnover after turnover. They finished with 16 in the contest. And when it mattered the most, 1.6 seconds left, and the Muhls clinging to a 1-point lead. Armstrong stepped to the line, buries both. Wilson dropping a 3-point game to the Muhls, 62-59. Coach Flowers afterward, said, hey, we stand for PAVE. When the crowd's energized, the whole team is energized. Coach Coldren said, hey, we're going to play each other again. We have to keep getting better. And tonight, they do play again. Both teams are different than they were a month ago. So we will take a quick break here for the national anthem, and when we return, back here for Muhls versus Wilson. Well, we've talked about it all season long here, Jerry, and it remains one of the defining characteristics of this Muhlenberg team. As L.J. Armstrong and Eli Hemmings go, so do the Muhls. Some of their best performances, like January 8th against Allen, they both went for 20. The offense was flowing. The defense was suffocating. They had a mercy rule route. They looked like the best team in Berks. But then Thursday against Berks Catholic, Hemmings couldn't buy a free throw. Armstrong had 18, but he was trying to carry the load alone, blowing that 11-point halftime lead. Take a look at the stat sheet. Hemmings, just 2 points in the first half, and then just 4 after the halftime break. He had 2 in the third, and he was 2 of 4 from the line in OT, just for 6 points. But that seems to be a pattern. When both of them are clicking, the Muhls can beat anybody. When one is off or both are off, they are a vulnerable team. So tonight, they look to have both of the best versions of both of these players here this evening. And Hemmings right away clanging one off the backboard, trying to be aggressive off the jump. Yeah, the BCI AA tournament coming up rapidly here. 3 launched by Akings. And well then. Hemmings trying to answer once again. That one off the backboard. Miller trying to get after it with Mercado. And they get tied up. And Mercado, I think he literally pulled Mikey Miller up off the ground. It looked like he levitated there for a second, Jerry. Jerry doesn't have his mic open, so it's going to be a one-way conversation here.
New nickname, Houdini.
There you go. Welcome to the game, Jerry. McLean, Mercado, Michael Glover. They're all in there. As is the man with the ball right now, Peter Kafala. Kafala from the left corner, won't get it. For the Muhls, you got Hemmings, Collado, Mikey Miller. Malave turning the ball over. Then also L.J. Armstrong. Armstrong picking the pocket that time of McLean. Now trying to get rid of him here. Finally across midcourt, drives in with the left, lays it up and in. Heck of a job there by Armstrong. Doing it himself from coast to coast. A 3 by Akings again. Well, okie dokie then. Akings, their leading scorer, no kidding. A 3 from the other end. That would be Malave answering right back. Threes aplenty here to start this contest. Head coach Matt Flowers will take a timeout here. Doesn't like everything that he sees.
Early timeout, make an adjustment.
Let's see, he's down there, very emphatic, clapping his hands. Just a 1-point game, but clearly something that he's not liking out there. Might be a little bit of the defensive intensity. The Muhls will now come out in a 2-2-1 full court press. It just means Mikey Miller is back here playing free safety. It's what he does best. No kidding.
Amen.
Finally getting it across. Mikey Miller swats that one away into the waiting arms of Armstrong. Armstrong gets bumped into by Collado. He turns it over. Akings dribbles it off his chin. Miller strips it 3-on-1. Armstrong takes a dribble too strong, and he can't contain it. Too much sauce there. Saw this against Reading, too, that the first couple of minutes of these contests are pretty hot and heavy. Nice job by Hemmings. Tips it into the backcourt. He's good to go. He'll dribble in, look around. They find Muhls open for three, and his second of the game. Makes it 8-6 Muhls. Having some Muhls giving chase there, finally getting it across to Glover. They go up and underneath, and McLean trying to get three the hard way. Foul is on Collado. That'll be his first. Interesting to note here as well. Usually on a senior night, you will see all of these seniors inserted. It's McLean adds on the extra point. And we're going to have a stoppage here, I believe, to check the clock. Score is correct. Fouls are correct. They don't have a possession arrow up on the board. And they subtract a few seconds. All right, so that's what it was.
Scoreboard showing for Muhlenberg.
There you go. Muhls with the side out. Trying to get it into Miller. Miller tips it out of bounds into the Bulldog cheerleading section. They were already out there at midcourt getting booed. Welcome to Laureldale. Muhls breaking out that 2-3 zone. Hemmings and Armstrong up top. Wilson content to probe their way around it here. A three from dead ahead. That one off the mark by McLean. Into the corner goes Glover to track down the miss. Fresh start here for the Bulldogs. Up top to Akings. Akings, that one rolls out. Miller tips it to himself. Lave a little bit of probing himself, the Reading High transfer. Looking for Miller. Miller not ready. Thought Muhls did have a really good idea there. There was nobody in the middle of the paint. Miller, he takes that pass. He's got an open look. Not on the same page. Over on the Exeter Sports Network, it's Exeter 36, Twin Valley 20 at the break. Dipping in around the foul line, unable to get it was Calfata. Lockhart into the game. Tips it out of bounds. Josh Miller will check in, as will Jaden Perez, one of the seniors. Like I said, not starting the seniors. Usually you'll see that on senior night, but too important of a game here. The seniors do see playing time. They just won't get the little check mark that they started this one. Josh Miller taking the place of Mikey. Perez and Collado swapping places. Perez drives the no-look pass into the corner. And Miller unable to finish. That got a couple of the JV players up and out of their seats down here. Calfata. Threes or nothing for the Bulldogs so far. Be it from beyond the arc or three-point plays. Armstrong. I think that they're going to say that it was on the floor. Foul will be on Akings. He'll take a freebie on him, that's for sure. They do not have a 40 on the roster, but I would assume that that may be Niembo. He is 42. There is not a 42 on the bench. And he has played every single contest, so I'll double check that when we get a break. Hemmings going around the baseline, trying to find Hutchinson. Hutchinson, case of the Butterfingers. Akings to the corner, and that one ended up putting Cornish on skates. Muhlenberg basketball. It's Hutchinson into the contest, taking over for Armstrong. Hemmings will play primary ball handler, likely with Malave. He'll steer down Cornish to start here as Wilson comes out man-to-man. Malave catching him sleeping. He is all but one of the Muhls buckets from the field here as they close the gap to 2. He now has 8. 2 from beyond the arc, 1 from inside. Nice start there for the senior. That one a little too strong by Lockhart. That one goes up and clangs off the glass by Calfata. Malave starts, stops, can't get the floater. Akings grabs the board ahead to Lockhart. Lockhart averaging a little over 3 points a game here as a junior. This one put up from the right side by Calfata, won't get it to go. Calfata averages about a 3-pointer made per contest. And Hutchinson got it and one. They call the block that time on Lockhart. Hutchinson, a nice, strong look there. Mercado will check back in. Now Waldron uses a very rotational lineup, winningest coach in Wilson history. Back at it again. Hutchinson won't complete the 3-point play. Under a minute to play here in the first. Wilson, you can tell, slowing things down here with a little bit of the second unit in to finish off the first quarter. Nice job by the Muhls. Not a whole lot of breathing room here for the Bulldogs, as they've bled maybe half a minute off the clock, and now they'll just consider holding for 1. 15 seconds left now. Muhls, excellent defense there by Hemmings. Hemmings sliding down, help side defense. I think he might have gotten a piece of it, but Calfata's there to clean up the garbage. And Hemmings, a half-court heave before the buzzer, won't get it to go, but pretty darn close. 14-12. No breathing room there for me either. Straight on through, Jer.
Well, that's the way you want it, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Every sport brings a different approach here. Football's very methodical because it's very, calling a play, then you have color. Calling a play, then you have color. Play, color. Like it's very
Regimented.
pieced together like that. Very regimental. There you go. Basketball is the free spirit a little bit. It's, you know, you're keeping up with the pace of play. It's not quite hockey, but this is nonstop at certain points.
I keep wanting to do a hockey game. We just never get it together.
Do they play over at Body Zone?
Yeah, you know, it's a club sport. But, you know, my kids played in that league. And it was great hockey to watch. Really great hockey to watch.
We'll have to throw it together sometime.
Yeah, Darren and I have discussed it several times. We keep going, we got to throw that together sometime.
I've called exactly one hockey game in my life. We set it up over on, I think, Rink 1 over at Body Zone.
Yeah.
For Alvernia. That was the first and last hockey game I've ever done.
How'd you do?
I don't remember. Was that memorable? I would guess it was adequate. Fine. As were most of my calls when I was in college. As are most of my calls now, you know, 15 years after college.
You and Darren are 1A and 1B, no question.
It was a nice feed into Hutchinson down in the post by Hemmings. Unfinished business for him. So we're underway here in the second. Oh, yeah, by the way, there's basketball on the court. Whoop. Come out here. Hemmings giving chase. The three off the mark that time by Mercado. Miller has his pocket pick from behind. Back we come the other way. Glover now leading the charge. 4-on-3. Glover nowhere to go. Got himself up in the air. Hemmings comes away with it. Hemmings trying to draw contact. It looked like a clean block by Calfata, but got him with the body. I believe for Calfala, that will be number 1 on him, and it will send Eli Hemmings to the line. Hemmings tried getting started early, took 2 very early shots. Couldn't connect on either of them. Finally a chance to get in the scoring column, and he does. Jaden Perez will check back in. As the Mules, little interest in rebounding a miss here. Guess they have to stick somebody down on the block. And it goes in the direction of Malave, actually. The Bulldogs will come away with it. 1 of 2 from the stripe for Hemmings. Hemmings still the team leader in scoring at 16.7 per game. Armstrong right behind him at 13.2. Malave at 11.6. And Hemmings called for a push. So Hemmings obviously looked like he got all ball on the swat, but a little nudge in the back as well while he was shooting, and that is equally as much of a foul. Scalfana to the line. Hits the first.
Refs didn't mess up anything there.
I don't think so.
It's a physical game now.
Calfata scored 21 against the Red Knights. Has 7 here after banging in the second.
I love it when the refs call them over to where they want them. Kids want to go in one spot. Refs like, nope, get down here. I'm not walking to you.
You know what? I do that to my first and second grade team, too. I'm like, they stand inside the black line there on the baseline. I'm like, no. We're doing this right. You're going to learn right the first time. Stick them behind the line. Toes behind the line, please. Malave and Perez looking to play a little 2-man game here. Perez dips away. Malave gets a man up in the air, and an easy foul on McLean. McLean, that will be his first. Nice job by Malave. Being aggressive here.
First with his threes.
A couple of threes. The team 1 of 3 from the stripe here so far. Hits the first. Again, they'll have to do better. Their first meeting, they were 15 of 33 from the stripe. They got away with it in OT, but once again, no interest in rebounding here for Muhlenberg. And won't get the friendly bounce. He'll stay stuck on 9 here in the early goings. Wilson playing a game of hot potato amongst themselves. Into the corner. A 3. Ronaldo Gonzalez now into the scoring column. It's down here at the other end. Quite clearly a foul on Mercado. That'll be number 1 on him. It'll send Mikey Miller to the stripe.
Great sportsmanship by Mercado.
Nope.
Offering to help Mikey up.
No brouhaha.
Nope.
Miller clangs the first. Miller, well, at least according to PAD3hoops.com, does not really get to the stripe all that often.
It's a great website, isn't it?
It's fantastic when all the stats are filled in. You can see in the game log that not all of them filled in nearly as neatly. The points are, but maybe not necessarily everything else, as Miller misses both. Naking's able to come away with the board. It's much better than what existed beforehand, which was nothing. So I will gladly applaud people working behind the scenes here to make PAD3hoops.com a possibility.
Do we know who that is?
I do not. I know, obviously, Berks girls basketball is Sean McBrien.
Also does a great job.
Once again, a 3 from the corner. And it's Mercado getting into the action. Another 3 by Perez. That one nearly tipped up and in by Hutchinson. He's blocked by the underside of the rim, and we're going to have a foul here on the floor as Perez's 3 started that whole sequence and went astray. I believe it's on McLean. That'll be number 2. Hemmings and Miller will check back in. It's both Millers out there now for the Berg. Again, just 3 points combined here with man taking the shot there in Armstrong and Eli Hemmings. They've been held relatively quiet here in the first, and it shows. Just 14 points here for the Mules. Just 2 here in the first 3 minutes and 20 seconds or so of the second. Hemmings still active here on the defensive end. They're going to call him again. He's just looking for... Come on, man. Come on. You got to give him one of those. Man's hustling out there. He is hustling out there. I'm going to watch this replay and be really frustrated by it because it's a clean block.
It's a clean block, but he did get his hand on his back.
Sure he did. First one's up and in for Gonzalez. I don't want to hear that, Jerry.
Just trying to be fair.
Look, I'll go back and watch it again and be just as frustrated. Here he comes. There's no hand on his back there.
Second one, maybe.
Second one. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that was not a foul, but don't at me. Olave. (24-14). The energy, dare I say, kind of non-existent right now.
It's very quiet in
It is very
isn't it?
quiet.
Neither side is getting all too
Officials
boisterous.
timeout here. And they're just playing around with the number of fouls on the scoreboard, I believe.
Now, Ryan, an official caught that
Oh, it was
the
a
fouls weren't right.
wasn't a foul on Armstrong. Well, maybe that's who they were originally calling the foul on, too. Well, Malave back to the line. Hits the first.
Nice. But yeah, both sides very quiet, man.
The difference there being the 5th foul on Wilson. But yeah, the crowd is extraordinarily quiet, even for senior day. As Malave hits both. It'll belong to the Mules. So Lockhart will check back in for the Bulldogs. Yeah, kind of surprised there's no real, Wilson student section to speak of. Usually between these two schools, especially in a heavily contested matchup, you're expecting maybe a little bit of bad blood. Miller drains the corner pocket three.
It's not like it's far to West Lawn. Pretty
He's not
easy
far to
commute.
West Lawn. The former borough of West Lawn. That's Calfata. That one looked like it barely even touched the net as it sank through. (28-19) Hemmings driving in. He's swatted by Calfata the entire way. There go the Bulldogs. That one clanged off the backboard. Glover is hacked. Mules do have some fouls to give.
So when you say the former borough of West Lawn, has it graduated to Metropolis?
No. They were absorbed
We know.
once upon a time.
Good God, that was like 15 years ago, wasn't it?
I think that they're the last example here in Berks County of a merger of any sorts of municipalities. You're not going to get that on WEEU. Wilson trying to dribble around that man-to-man defense. Collado may have had a hand in it, but Calfata grabs the offensive board. Putback attempt. That one clangs. Another putback again as Akings cleaning up the mess. He now has 8. Wilson touching 30. Malave step back 3, too strong. 2:25 remaining here in the first. The Mules trailing by 11. Need something here to give him a spark. Armstrong with the pick. 3-on-3 over to Hemmings, and Hemmings too many steps. Had to gather step, took 2 more.
So 3's too many.
My 4-year-old, or my 3.5-year-old, I should say. She looks like a 4-year-old. She can count to 3. She can count to like 20. But she could certainly count the number of steps that Eli Hemmings took there. Mercado dealing with Armstrong. Under 2 to play. Talked about how they didn't get Glover enough touches in the second half of their contest against Muhlenberg earlier in the season as that three-pointer by Akings rolls out. Lockhart snags the offensive board. Glover's been really quiet here in the first half. No points to speak of. That one launched from beyond the arc off back iron. Trying to tip it down low, and what a fantastic athletic play that time as Calfata lays it in. Oh boy. That was Mercado there that time, just slinging it one-handed off the board. How about that?
I'm telling you.
Well, that was spicy. You know what else is spicy?
Tell me.
I don't know. Probably something that you can get at Birdie's.
You get a lot of good spicy stuff.
I was looking for something that's spicy on the menu here, and I'm assuming that I'm just going to have to bring up the wings, even though they're
wings.
barely mentioned on here. But they do have the best burgers in Berks, too.
I have not gotten the wings at Birdie's in a long time. Thank you for mentioning that. Next time.
There you go. So if you're looking for the best burgers and maybe the best wings, I think the best wings are technically Black Sheep Tavern.
Oh, I don't even know where that is.
That is over off Old Fritztown Road.
They're not
a sponsor, and I'm not going to give them any more free advertising. But I think technically they won some award, and they won't stop posting about it all year long. So anyway, speaking of years, for over 180 of them, Birdie's has been around and been a local favorite. Come taste why they won the, speaking of awards, the 2025 Best Bar Food Award with their hand-pressed burgers, house-smoked kielbasa, made from a 200-year-old recipe. Kick back at their newly updated bar or stay cozy on their massive heated year-round deck with live music, trivia, and wings every night. There's always a reason to visit. So this Wednesday, you have the ultimate and unique trivia experience. Thursday, Boombox Bingo. Friday, Chuck and Steve. I don't want to mispronounce it by saying Steve and Chuck.
Different band.
They're on Friday. Saturday, Break for Turtles is playing from 7 to 10. And don't forget that late night menu. As we're going to have a foul here on Wilson after the miss. It'll be on Mercado, getting caught underneath of Malave. But again, don't forget that late night menu Friday and Saturday night from 9 to 11. That's Birdie's Inn's 160 Old Friedensburg Road and 5 Points in Exeter. Have fun, be kind.
Our most favorite place.
Malave to the stripe. In and out. Malave about a 50% free throw shooter. Again, averaging a little under 12 per game. It's going to be right about there at halftime. Just 7 points here for the Mules in the second. As the junior transfer bangs it home. Makes it a 12-point advantage for the Bulldogs. Malave thinking that he got a piece of it and knocked it off of Lockhart.
I thought he did.
Baseline official doesn't agree with you, Jerry.
He was a little bit closer than me, so maybe he's right.
He had his nose right in it.
Yeah, he was right there.
55.6 up on the board. Lockhart will have Miller draped on him as he crosses half court. Again, the Mules going back to man-to-man defense. Hutchinson comes in as well, trying to provide a little bit of help. And a nice drive that time by Calfata, who lays it in. And he's hot off that 21-point game against Reading. May not have won that contest, but it's certainly given him a lot of confidence. Armstrong double-teamed. Hemmings thinking three, and they'll just restart things. Calfata averaging 10.5 points per game as Hemmings' rough stretch continues here for Max. He's at 16.2 points per game now. Was at 16.7 going into the Berks Catholic game. 15.3 left now, and Wilson up by 14. Looking to make it more. Glover, the big fella, setting a screen. Bulldogs driving in. Big hop step into the lane. Uncontested bucket that time for Mercado. Armstrong dipping out of the way. Shot will be too late. And it's a 16-point advantage here for the Wilson Bulldogs. They're able to put up 22 in the second quarter. The Muhls just 8. Just 8 for the Muhls, as they have a hole to dig themselves out of here coming up in the second half. Taking a look at some of the stats at the break. Again, we talked in pregame about as L.J. Armstrong, as Eli Hemmings goes, so go the Muhls. Never been more true than this evening, unfortunately. 2 points for Armstrong coming in the first quarter. Hemmings 1 of 2 at the break. Their 2 leading scorers, just 3 points so far in the first half. Nelson Malave has done most of the heavy lifting for the Muhls. He had 8 in the first quarter. He added 4 more in the second. He has 12 to lead pretty much everyone except for Calfata over on the Wilson side. Josh Miller with a 3 of his own, and Ryan Hutchinson with 2 points as well. The Bulldogs, they're led by Calfata, again, coming off that 20-plus point contest against Reading High, coming in really hot and confident. He has 13 at the break. Mercado with 5, Gonzalez with 5, Akings has 8, and McLean with 3 for the Bulldogs, as they just kept things rolling there in the second, outscoring the Muhls by 14 in the stanza, and pushing that lead up to 16 here at halftime. We will take a break, and when we return, we'll have second half action of the Muhls and Bulldogs right here for you on the Muhls Sports Network.
You're watching the Muhls Sports Network on Jerry Gellup Media.
lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, that's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Adding your own flavor to fashion comes with age.
Okay, Dad, look at you.
Yeah, welcome. Hi.
Forgetting how to add doesn't. Finding it difficult to work with numbers may be a sign of Alzheimer's.
Dad, are you okay?
An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's. Some things come with age, some others don't.
Back at it here in Laureldale. As the Mules looking to overcome a sluggish performance in the first half. Pretty much playing for what could potentially be the third seed here in BCI AA tournament. Again, it's likely the difference between being in the same bracket as BC or being in the same bracket as Reading. I mean, really dealer's choice. All of those games have been pretty excellent. Nice backdoor cut there by Akings, who lays it in. It was a fantastic find by, I believe, Mercado. And we're underway. Nice quick movement as, once again, Hemmings going in, just forcing the issue down on the low block. That's how the Mules got started in the first half. That's how they get started here in the second. Glover will pull up. Lefty grazes the net. Back come the Mules. Malave, a wide open three. Malave with 15 to lead all scorers so far.
15 of 23.
15 of their 23. His high this season is 25. He scored that back on December the 19th against Berks Catholic. Nice find by Glover that time, and man, that one hung on the rim for what seemed like an eternity for Mercado. He'll stay with the Bulldogs. That one hard off the backboard, won't go for McLean. Outlet to Hemmings. Drives, kicks, Malave, another three. Malave in and out. Hemmings, offensive board, putback too strong. Another putback won't go. Hemmings fouled on a third putback attempt.
It's hustle.
He's got the hustle. I'll give him that much. Just not the touch here this evening.
Eli Hustle.
Hemmings has gone through these stretches. A 55.2% free throw shooter, again, at least with the stats that are available. Rolls in number 2. Hemmings did have 23 against the Red Knights. But again, kind of a lull here to finish off the season. Just 7 against Boone, 12 against Exeter, 11 at Mifflin, and 7 against Berks Catholic on Thursday. Calfala won't be able to finish at one end. Armstrong pulls up at the other. Malave has a go off him out of bounds. Came streaking in trying to snag that board. It ends up clanging off his knee, I think, and over the end line. And Hemmings put up 30 against Hempfield, 23 against Wilson the last time that they met. He had 9 buckets. He can certainly do it. He had 25 against Reading back on December the 11th as well. And I have a 30-second timeout taken here.
By Wilson, I think.
By Wilson. He had 12 or less in 4 of his last 5 contests. Has 3 this evening. You can hear the coaching staff down there pleading for him, like, let's rebound and go. Let's rebound and go. This is a Muhls team that likes to be in transition. They like to be on the move. They like to get out, force the issue.
They showed us against Berks Catholic Friday night in the first half.
Sure did. Lights out defense. That 2-3 zone, they were fired up. They were moving. Active hands, active feet. It was a defensive clinic in the first half. They held BC to just 12 points. Likely Berks Player of the Year and another first-team All-State selection upcoming for Kingston McCoy. He was held scoreless in that first half. He ended up finishing above his average, which is how things went in the second. Here goes Glover trying to post up Miller and does. A little spin move for Glover, and he's officially in the scoring column himself. His first bucket for 2. Lead sits at 15. Hemmings driving, floater in the lane, left short. Picks up his own offensive board, literally over the top. I think he reached over the head of McLean. And he'll go back to the stripe for 2 more. And we have some students in the student section being removed from the game. The entire first row behind the bench.
First row.
The entire first row.
AD Tim Moyer down there.
Yeah, Tim Moyer, you got a cop down there. Another admin, they're going to pause this game until they're all gone. Now Tim Moyer has to raise his voice a little bit. The kid with the moo cowl on his head thinks this is hilarious. Which checks for somebody wearing cowl print on his head, I think.
I see our Cooper Burr. I see Xavier Otero.
I'm not naming names. I'm not a snitch, Jerry. But they are tossed from the game. Hemmings.
I'm throwing
Numero
Cooper
uno.
out there so his father knows.
What his dad doesn't know doesn't hurt him.
Yeah, but then I got to hear from, why don't you tell me you got thrown out?
That's a you problem, Jerry. Hemmings, you can't get the second. I don't have your same problems.
It's true.
Lead sits at 14 for the Bulldogs. Man, if you're the Mules, you want to claw this back to within single digits. Glover had kicked out to McLean. McLean won't do it from beyond the arc. Instead gets it to Akings. Akings is met by Miller. Good defense by him. Loose ball. Calfata comes down with it. And sorry, the way that I have his name written looks like Calfata. So every time that I look at it, I add a T instead of an L. Calfala on the low. Hemmings will be called for the personal. Max disagrees. Pretty sure he's disagreed with every foul call against him this evening. But it is number 3. Akings driving past Hemmings, nearly gets the roll. And Hutchinson turns it over, trying to force the issue to Malave. Back the other way comes Calfala, and he'll go to the line. Hemmings called for number 4. Hemmings with as many points as fouls this evening. Talked to by head coach Matt Flowers right now. Calfala remains perfect at the line. Hemmings will take a break, I would assume, until the 4th. And we ran into this a couple of games ago. Some players in foul trouble. Mikey Miller was the culprit. He had 4. And you're like, and that was before halftime. And you're like, do you play him? Do you not play him? And they were losing at the time to Reading, and they're like, yeah, you know what? Kind of have to roll with our best player. So Mikey, hey, lace him up. Miller unfortunately picked up his 5th pretty early in the second half of that one.
Yeah, he did.
He's with us here tonight as he looks down on the low post. Pass into the corner, Armstrong off the side of the backboard. Lockhart, the wild board. 3-on-2 the other way. Calfala fouled by Miller. Right on cue there, Mikey.
Speak of the devil, and he will appear.
Hey, look who's fouling. It's Mikey Miller. Foul number 3 on the Mules. Miller's 2nd. Calfala with 15, make it 16. The senior averaged under 2 points a game last year, thrown into a big role this year, and has certainly answered the call and really has grown as the year has gone along. It's Josh Miller into the game, trying to draw some contact, draw something there. Clangs it off the backboard as well. Calfala has been hot and cold. As a 3 from the corner by Malave. His 4th this evening. Trims the gap to 21 now. Maybe that'll be enough to give him a little bit of life here, as this has spread from what was a pretty manageable looking deficit to one that now sits in the low 20s. A deficit that is currently old enough to drink.
Of age? A deficit that is of age.
I'm not using those terms, no.
Okay.
I'm saying old enough to drink, Jerry. No. Nice
Nothing about blackjack.
No. Nice try, Diddy. That might be the first time that Nice Try Diddy has made its way onto a broadcast anywhere.
Yeah, on ours, anyway.
Not here for that, Jer. It is a 47-26 game. Malave, the only one doing a bit of scoring here in the third with his pair of threes. He now has 18. Hemmings was 3 of 4 at the line, but nothing from inside the arc, outside the arc, other than those threes by Malave. Look to change that here. They need to crack off something looking like a run as Perez a 3. That one off to the left. Felt very clearly like they were trying to get something set up. He hasn't been trigger shy. So he will deal with Glover. Akins. Off front iron, another offensive board. Turnaround jumper in the paint. Touches every part of the rim and rolls out. Miller a 3. That one too strong. He'll follow the rebound. Up ahead to Akins. Akins forcing the issue on the low block against Miller. Good defense by him. Miller all the way up ahead to Perez. Perez will lay it in. First bucket from somebody not named Nelson here in the third quarter. Miller with the strip. 2-on-1. Malave had to think about it and gets bailed out, I think. Spent a lot of time thinking about whether to pass that off and was a little weak going up and gets bailed out as a result. The foul will go to Lockhart. That's number 2 on him. And Nelson back to the line. He's made a living there, especially in the first half. Made 3 trips. This is number 4. Won't get the first. Getting some frequent flyer miles with these trips. Cornish will check in for Calfalo. He exits with 17. Leads the Bulldogs. Next leading scorer is Akins, who has 10. As Malave hits the second half, lead is back to 19. Like to get a little bit of a stretch here. Glover driving on Perez, right hand off the backboard and in. Tough bucket for Glover. Pushes the lead back to 20. Armstrong pulls the string, loses the handle. Buck 22 left here in the third. Driving in, swatted by Armstrong. They're going to say that it still belongs to Wilson. Mercado feeling rejected that time. Glover, not a problem here this evening for him, just 4 points. They're going to say that was a 50-50. Some fancy ball work here, trying to draw contact, won't finish. And Miller will be fouled, going for the board. It'll be on the floor, but it will be on Lockhart. That's number 3. Akings will replace Gonzalez here for the remaining 58.8. Perez back to Armstrong, little give and go. That one won't make it. .35 seconds left here. But Glover had 24 points, 14 assists the last time out that they played against each other. Not so much here, but he will try to break down Perez. He gets past him. The Mules trying to draw the personal foul. Malave unsuccessful, and Glover now with 6. Perez from the corner. That one short. Mikey Miller grabbing the offensive board. Armstrong driving in, won't get it. And we'll see if they count it from Miller.
Yes.
They will count it. I haven't seen anything from the referees to the contrary.
Now they put it up.
Well, there you go. Well, as we enter into the fourth quarter here, there's a 20-point advantage. The Mules 11 in the third. Over half of those points coming from Nelson Malave. He has 19 this evening. About 6 shy of his season high.
You know, you are terrible at taking instruction.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, you wanted me to read the Birdie's ad?
Yeah, that's why I throw the piece of paper at you. Too late now.
I assume we had agreed that the Birdie's ad copy was for the fourth quarter, not in between quarters.
We agreed to no such thing.
Need to read something in the fourth.
Made that up in your head.
Unless people really want to watch Scarlett Johansson and the PSAs that you have lined up.
I give him the flag waving too.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Or the moment of Zen.
You gotta love that though. I didn't steal that idea from YouTube at all.
And we're underway. Wilson with 15 in the third. Adding another 4 to their total. Hemmings driving baseline, kicks out, thinks about it, does Malave. Hemmings taking a 3. That one blocked by Calfala. Calfala doing it at both ends as Armstrong up and under. His first bucket since the first. Cuts the lead to 18. It's going to take a Herculean effort here by the Mules. So Armstrong called for the foul. That's his first, team's first. A look down low, nice passing all the way around as Calfala will go to the stripe. Tic-tac-toe that time from the Bulldogs.
It's almost like they worked on that.
Almost. Almost like it's a design play.
Yeah.
2 straight overtime losses. You can feel like they've been playing good basketball, just have not been able to put it all together. And here this evening, at least for Calfala, he now has 18. Looking to match Malave here shortly. But 2 straight home overtime losses, both of them to Division I rivals, as that one in and out. They've been playing good basketball, just have not been able to finish, and certainly have a chance here this evening as Miller's off with his 3. Josh Miller will clean up at the other end. He now has 7. Leads at 17. Looking down low for Calfalo. Ball still on the ground, and I believe that we're going to have a timeout taken here by Wilson. Miller won't let go of it. Got some feisty parents up here.
Right?
I don't know if you can hear that through the microphone, but I always keep one ear open just to keep the pulse of the fans.
Why don't you call it on Wilson, is what she said.
Wilson had possession. Matt Waldron quick with the timeout. They let everything kind of play out afterwards. Unlike a football scrum, the person who stands up with the basketball afterwards, not always the recipient.
Right. Due to the vagaries of a possession.
Well, in this case, it was Matt Waldron calling a timeout there on the sideline while Wilson had possession of the basketball. Clear and obvious possession, I will add. Clear and obvious, no longer a thing in sports.
Not since
But
NIL.
I digress. I mean, I was talking about NFL officiating, but that's fine too.
Well, that's almost over, so.
Got to make it to Sunday. And an awkward exchange that time as Glover goes around Mikey Miller's back that time. Miller had him all spun around. Looked like they were doing that thing where you like tie yourself to your buddy's waist and you just kind of like roll around with your backs connected.
Is that the hokey pokey?
It might be. Smolave getting onto the hardwood. Big old Euro step by Hemmings. He's into the paint. His first bucket of the entire evening, coming with 6:24 or so left. As Glover being hounded now. The lead's at 15. And again, you turn this into a one-possession game, and that was a 10-second violation by the Bulldogs. Turn it into a one-possession game, and now you're a lot more manageable. Now you're just a couple of hoops and a couple of stops away, but it starts right now. You got 6:13 left. You got to get a move on here.
Clock is not your friend.
Clock is not your friend in this case. Into Armstrong. But yeah, you get a bucket here. You're down, 12-13. Now you're cooking with a little bit of gas as Armstrong driving. Won't get the roll. Akings nearly has it stripped away. But man, that one kissed every part of the inside of that rim. Hemmings trying to sell the offensive foul, and instead it'll be 2 at the line for Glover.
Nice try.
It was the Grammys last night, not the Emmys. Or 2 nights ago, or I don't know. I wasn't watching it.
It's because you're a man.
Grammys have never been my thing. I'll watch the Oscars and stuff like that. It's the first one short by Glover. Maybe the Emmys. Never the Grammys. 5:45 left here in the fourth. Glover averaging 7.9 per game, misses both. He stays stuck on 6. Hemmings driving, and it's just very clear that Calfala has the athleticism to match and has stymied him almost every step of the way. A 3 by Hemmings gets it to drop. All right then, leads at 12. And we're going to have a foul here on Miller. As Josh Miller picks up number 1, I believe. But more importantly, Not the second foul on Josh Miller, but the 5th foul on the Mules, and it sends the Bulldogs to the bonus. So unfortunately, that's working against him too. Not only is the clock with 5:24 ticking down, not now, it's stopped for the free throws, but will be ticking down shortly, but no fouls by Wilson.
None.
None.
Holy
0,
crap.
zilch, 0. Nunca, Bupkis. So they have a whole lot of fouls to give in the last portion of this period. The Mules, on the other hand, no margin of error. Hemmings grabs the board. Dribbles it off his foot. Malave retrieves it before it goes over half court. Malave draws Glover. Spin move into the lane, tries the up and under, and Miller once again crashing the offensive glass. Nice job by Mikey going over to help up Josh. And Josh will be going back to the line. I don't know why I said back there. He hasn't been there yet. The Mules as a whole will go back to the line. How about that?
Miller brothers combining on that one.
I don't think they're related.
No?
I'm going with no. Josh misses the first. Josh about a 71.4% free throw shooter. Hit 5 of his last 7. Swishes number 2. Lead still sits at a dozen. Said if you're Muhlenberg, you're not that far off. Driving baseline, nothing doing down there, and we're going to have a foul called on the Mules. And it's going to be on Josh Miller. And a technical foul on Miller as well.
Why are they calling a technical?
I think that he had something to say afterwards that
He
the
did.
refs didn't like. And for Miller, that'll be 2 fouls racked up back-to-back. He'll be on 4 now because technicals count as personals
Yeah, he
here
looked
at the
over
high
his-
school level.
He looked over his right shoulder and said something.
Can't do that.
Apparently not.
Lockhart hammers in the first. And the second. He's now on the scoreboard. That will send Akings to the line. It's the first. All that hard work to pull that 21-point deficit back to 12, and it now sits back at 16. And because of the technical foul, it will belong to Wilson again. Hemmings tips it. Kalfala nearly getting the athletic play. Kalfala would have been nice to see him another year here as Hemmings faking the 3, then driving. Won't receive it as Armstrong. Tough bucket. Willing that one into existence was L.J. Armstrong. Wilson content to pull it out here and drain some clock. Up by 14. Mules have to be content to come out here and defend for the remaining 4 minutes. There's no other way around it. It's what my middle school coach would have called helter-skelter. And Wilson breaks the press. Mercado, another one. He has 3 in the quarter. Give him 8. Crowd getting a little restless as Armstrong has it slapped out by Akins. It was just the second team foul here. They're going to give Armstrong 2 at the stripe. See what happens when you're aggressive? Sometimes, anyway.
First one's good.
Good on numero uno.
Did not know you spoke German.
Japanese, actually.
I don't have an ear for that stuff.
Armstrong gets both. He's now up to 8. Leads at 14 again. Akins. Little clutch in the air. Put back that time by Lockhart. He'll hang up there and deposit 2. Nice cut there by Armstrong. He got caught in the air, had nowhere to go with the basketball. It's taken away by Mercado. Fancy dribbling, beating the press by Lockhart, and down on the low block, counted and 1. Kelfala taking the weak foul, saying thank you very much, and he'll go back to the line. That puts him on a 20 spot. His season high was 22. That was back on December the 6th against Abington. He hit 20 against York Suburban. And I got to tell you, if he's going to be feeling it and providing a really lanky athletic option here for the Bulldogs, he's going to make them a tougher out in the tournament. As he kind of rounds into form, Malave looking for space, finds enough. His first bucket of the 4th. Think about Kelfala is he's never been able to really follow up a lot of these strong performances with another one as Akins has it slapped away, I guess. Stays with Wilson. That's what they're calling on the floor. But he's never been able to string more than 2 consecutive games together in double digits. He had 11 to start the season at Central Dauphin before his 22-point contest. But then he scored 19 against Mifflin, followed that up with 9 against Reading. He had 20 against York Suburban, 10 against Hempfield, and then 4 against Manheim Township the game after that. 15 against Cedar Crest, just 2 against Daniel Boone in a 36-point win. And then 21 points against Reading and doing about the same here this evening. Akins will be the guilty party there. His second personal, team's 3rd. Hemmings driving. And the foul will be on Kelfala. Hemmings back to the line. Has not been awful there this evening. 4 of 6. Above his average. Had to say it, didn't I?
You kind of did.
First one won't go. Other games going on here. Berks Catholic trouncing Daniel Boone 76-30. Not a typo. Second is good for Hemmings. Hemmings now with 6 in the quarter, 9 in the half, 10 overall. Pottsgrove over Ole Valley in girls action, 55-35. YO girls beat up on Brandywine Heights, 45-18. Exeter ended up running away with that one, 68-33 over Twin Valley. Twin Valley just 2 victories here this year. But a big win for Exeter over on our sister network. Speaking of Exeter, if you're looking for the best burgers in Berks, Jerry, where do you go?
Birdie's Inn.
That is correct. For over 180 years, they've been a local favorite. Come taste why they won the 2025 Best Bar Food Award with their famous hand-pressed burgers and house-smoked kielbasa made from a 200-year-old recipe. Kick back at their newly updated bar. Stay cozy on the massive heated year-round deck with live music, trivia, and wings available every night. There's always a reason to visit. This week, 7 to 9, you have trivia. On Wednesday, you have bingo on Thursday. You have Chuck and Steve Acoustic on Friday from 7 to 10, and then Break for Turtles on Saturday from 7 to 10 as well. While you're there, you can grab the late night menu Friday and Saturday nights from 9 to 11. That's Birdie's Inn, 160 Old Friedensburg Road at 5 Points in Exeter. Have fun, be kind. Wilson fresh out of the break here. Looking just to play keep away for the last 2 minutes. Hutchinson checking in here for a little bit of length. Driving and absorbing the contact was Mercado, and he goes to grab some freebies. Olave called for the personal. That is number 2 on him. Won't get the first. Or the second, for that matter. Calfala grabs the offensive board. He won't get the follow. Hemmings snags the board. Hemmings trying to force the issue. Ball loose up in the air. Miller going after it. Hutchinson going after it. Still on the hardwood. Hutchinson comes away with it. It's stolen away by Glover. Glover up ahead to Mercado. Mercado, big hop step, spins, gets 2. Making up for his lack of action from the free throw line that time. Getting 2 the hard way. Malave spins, trapped. And we're going to have a foul called here on the floor. That will be on Lockhart, and that's number 4 on him, I believe. And that is the 5th team foul for the Bulldogs.
Good.
Malave gets the first. .22 now for the junior. Will be stuck on 22. Wilson, this will certainly help their case in the power rankings, as Wilson will take a full timeout. We can take a peek at that really quickly. The 6A power rankings are jam-packed, especially between 4 and 7 with Berks County teams. That's Muhlenberg currently sitting 4th, Reading 5th, Wilson 7th. Not sure how much this will actively change things, as the Mules sitting pretty well squashed right between Red Lion and Reading. Central Dauphin, Central York, Red Lion combining for just 8 losses between the 3 programs. Meanwhile, combining for, 53 wins off the top of my head? 53 wins. So 53 and 8 combined record amongst those 3 teams.
Wow.
Then you have the Mules at 14 and 5. The Mules do have a couple of contests after this. They're both on the road. You will not be able to bring either of those to you day jobs and all. But they will have Twin Valley on Wednesday, tomorrow evening. Just lost by a 30 spot to Exeter, who is most certainly in the BCI AA tournament, picking up the Berks 2 entry. As Glover, his first bucket of the fourth, give him 8. Hemmings a 3. Hemmings picking up some garbage time points here. Now in the fourth, he has 9. We'll stay with the Mules, down by 16, 31.5 left. Hemmings thinking a pull-up 3, blocked by Kelfala. Ends up grabbing the loose ball. Another 3 launched by Miller, and Josh Miller will get his second 3 of the evening. Too little, too late here for the Mules, as Wilson will just drain the clock here. 68-55 will likely be your final score unless they do something silly here like that. And Wilson may touch 70 as a result. First one is true for Lockhart. Now tied with the largest amount of scoring that the Bulldogs have had, and this is the first time all year that they've cracked 70. Hemmings will pick it up around midcourt, drive in, draw contact. Hemmings drawing the foul on Kelfala. That's number 4 on him. To the stripe he goes. Yeah, for Wilson, there's a chance that maybe they inch a little bit closer towards Cedar Cliff and Chambersburg. Won't go there for Hemmings. This is the last game for them.
So, Ryan, we should take this opportunity to say thanks so much to everybody here at Muhlenberg for the basketball season. From AD Tim Moyer, Superintendent Dr. Alan Futrick, and everybody who works the games here, including our buddy.
Full-time AD and part-time security guard, Tim Moyer.
Yeah, kid's a badass. Including our buddy, our in-booth announcer, Muhlenberg head coach, football coach, Rob Flowers.
That is correct. He's the other sultry baritone and that you hear.
They treat us so well, and we're grateful to them for that treatment.
Most certainly are. 70-56, your final score here. We'll take a quick break. Let me tally all this stuff up, and when we return, we will wrap up our portion of this. We'll talk about what is still yet to come here for the Mules. And, yeah, once again, a whole lot of thank yous on the way out of the building here. So we'll take a quick break and be right back right here on the Muhls Sports Network.
You're watching the Muhls Sports Network on Jerry Gelliff Media.
70-56 your final score here as the Mules drop to 14-6 on the year. Meanwhile, Wilson will improve to 14-7, 8-4 in the division. Muhlenberg not able to take advantage of a ripe opportunity to potentially avoid Reading in the bracket. Still should be marked safe with their record right now. Likely going to entertain the 4 seed as a result, being one of the highest remaining Berks 1 teams, still with an excellent record and excellent standings within District 3. So they're going to be okay. Just depending which side of the bracket that you're going to be on. That's really what they were playing for, and a whole lot of pride after you beat Wilson on the road, trying to hold down your home turf, and unable to do so in a 14-point swing. For Wilson, Peter Kafala, he had 21 against Reading. He had 21 against Muhlenberg here this evening. So fantastic job by him. We'll see if he's able to continue that going into BCIAAs. They're going to have a bit of a break here before they get into the tournament. But for Wilson, being able to have multiple options, able to score, Kofala was pretty much lights out. He had 13 in the first half. That's where he did most of his scoring from the field. He had 4 buckets inside the paint, 1 from outside. Good enough for his 13. Just 1 bucket in the fourth quarter to speak of. But he did hit 6 of his 7 free throw attempts down the stretch in line for his 21. That was followed up by Corell Akings hitting right about his average with 11 points for him. 10 for Mercado, which is about double his average. 6 for Lockhart, 5 for Gonzalez, and 3 for McLean. Meanwhile, for the Mules, they were led by Nelson Malave. He kind of tailed off a little bit down the stretch there in the fourth, but he had 12 in the first half, 19 by the third, finishes with 22 to pace the Mules. 14 for Eli Hemmings, most of them coming in the fourth when the game was well at hand. And then 8 for L.J. Armstrong. He had 6 in the fourth as well. But, you know, it's really those two were not clicking. They were not connecting. Just 20 points for the Mules in the first half, 8 points in the second quarter alone. They were followed by Josh Miller, who had 11. But, again, 6 came here in the fourth. As trying to make a game of things, they certainly had a little bit more offense as Wilson had backed off just a smidge. They put up 25 in the fourth, easily their best of the contest, nearly matching a lot of their scoring through the first 3 quarters, to be quite fair. But not enough. Not enough this time around here in the fourth as they fall by 14 to Wilson. That'll just about wrap it up here on our portion of the season here. It's been a blast being back here in Muhlenberg. Enjoy being in Laureldale.
Yeah. It's always a pleasure being here. After the incredible football season that we had, it was great to get into the gym and to look into the future for baseball and softball.
We'll have baseball. We will have softball.
Yep.
Always love doing both of those, especially baseball. It's up in the booth there. It's a little weird looking through a window.
Yeah.
I will say, because I love having the windows cracked when I'm calling games like that. Doesn't matter how cold it is. I like being able to hear some of the chatter, hear the stuff from the outside. I don't know. That's just me. That's what makes Muhlenberg pretty special, because we're not freezing our tails off anywhere else. Thank God.
Yeah, because we get plenty of that freezing your tail off at Exeter.
Yeah, Exeter might be one of the windiest spots that exists, especially for a game like that.
It is the highest spot in Exeter Township.
Well, I mean, the hill behind the school, maybe. Not the baseball field itself. That might be one of the lowest points in Exeter Township with the pit there. But excellent facilities here. We've called baseball and softball before, and looking forward to bringing that here. We won't have to sit on a weird hill behind the Y Missing baseball field anymore. So that's
fun,
nice.
No?
Was it?
Trying to make the best of it.
Yeah.
But
no,
yeah,
looking forward
it's
to
awesome.
coming back to
Absolutely.
these friendly confines. Looking forward to doing that. That starts up in March again already, so you won't be without us for too terribly long here. That's for sure.
Late March at best.
Late March at best. We've already started nicking a few off the calendar there. Couple of Exeter and Muhlenberg contests, one home, one away. Those are already kind of on the schedule.
Yep.
Looking at possibly March 20th, kind of circling that date. But certainly looks like we're going to have a lot of home contests, just judging by the early look at the schedule. They have a couple of really different road contests, being at like Penn Manor and Ephrata and playing a little Lancaster, Lebanon. So they'll be down there a little bit. They'll also be out west as well. Won't necessarily have all of those contests for you, but certainly the ones that are here in Muhlenberg.
Yeah.
Well, those are a lot easier for working folk to get to,
Dude,
especially
baseball
4
is-
o'clock start times.
Baseball is so much fun to do. It
Honestly,
really is.
I really do enjoy it. It's getting back to like the difference between football and basketball and baseball. I didn't get to talk about baseball, but baseball is like a leisurely conversation compared to the strict, play-by-play of football, and then you have basketball, which is just breakneck all the time. I have no idea when you're going to stop talking. Sometimes it's never. And baseball, it's just easy breezy, calling balls and strikes, telling stories. It's
You can
great.
Look off at the hills.
Look off at the hills. Are there hills here in Laureldale?
Absolutely.
We'll be able to take a look at the new school they're building. That's for sure.
Yes, we will. Dude, that thing is going up fast.
Yeah, sure is. Done a lot of work since football season.
Gotta be
And
impressed by those people.
we'll be able to check it out here when we get back to it. But we'll be taking about a month and a half hiatus, give or take.
Give or take.
Give or take.
Keep an eye on social media for when we release our baseball and softball schedule.
Yeah, but looking forward to it. I really enjoy calling both of those. I got my fancy scorebook. Looking forward to breaking that out. Got my fancy pencils to keep score, too. Looking forward to
Mechanical?
got the fancy mechanical, one of the Kunus, I believe. Kunu Tiogas.
Look at you.
Yeah, they're real nice. Self-sharpening?
Not the 10-pack from the dollar store?
No.
Those are the ones I buy.
Those are the ones that you bought. I bought my own $9 pencil
Wow.
for calling games.
Look at you.
Yeah, you got to splurge a little sometimes.
You're a fancy boy.
Something like
Look
that.
at you.
Anyway, 2 more games upcoming here for the Muhls as they look to stake a claim to their district seeding for sure. But they're at Twin Valley tomorrow night in what should be a good contest for them to get back on the winning track. And then they will have CD East in a non-league matchup on Friday, and then right into BCIAA. So I'm sure that there will be drama, as there always is with all of that. You always have the lower leagues, the Berks 3, the Berks 4, being like, hey, we deserve to have higher rankings. Remember that one year that Antietam had such a stink, and then they ended up getting trounced in the first round?
I do. That was one of those challenge things, right?
Yeah, there was a whole stink about it, and hopefully that doesn't come up this year. But I don't know. We won't be there to cover it right now.
I believe that was the year that Exeter went to the state title.
I believe it may have been.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, you're going to have BC, you're going to have Reading, you're going to have Wilson, you're going to have Muhlenberg. You'll have Exeter, you'll have WYO potentially winning. And then the toss-ups were like in Ole Valley, but they were, 11-9. They're not going to nick their way in. And Schuylkill Valley's 13-8 and 7-3 into the division. They still have a chance at Division 3, depending how all of that shakes out. They're on a winning streak right now. But, yeah, that's what gets the Muhls into BCIAA. So most certainly they'll be there. And we'll look forward to following them as they continue in their postseason journey here. But as for us, that'll do it here for the final time in Laureldale, at least for basketball coverage this year. So thank you for tuning in for both boys and girls action. Thrilled to bring it to you as always. And like Jerry said, thank you to the school district for allowing us in here. Thank you to Tim Moyer, the AD, for doing what he does at all times. It's always warm. It's always welcoming. And it's always actually warm temperature-wise, too, which is great. So
It's always hot in the gym.
It's always hot in this gym. It'll be totally different from baseball in the spring. That's for darn sure. But thank you to everyone for listening in. Thank you to our sponsors. But yeah, thanks for coming along on this ride. We'll have more for you in about a month and a half or so with baseball and softball. So stay tuned to Jerry's social media accounts for all of that. and we'll look forward to bringing it to you then. But as for this one, 70-56, your final score. The Muhls rounding out into postseason action here shortly. Make sure that you follow along to see exactly how they do, because I know that I will. So for everyone listening in, thank you so much again for tuning in. Really look forward to bringing these broadcasts to you, and we'll do so in about a month and a half again. So be sure to tune in then. Have a good night. Take care.